Hello and welcome to another edition of TechRadar Talks. I'm Mark Chaxfield and this is Gareth Beavis.
Bonjour.
We're here today to talk about Android Wear. It's had a massive update, a very timely update, just in time for the Apple Watch to come out. Gareth, you've been reading up all about this new big Android Wear update. What do you think of it?
First of all, I'd like to say well done for saying time so many times in that intro.
That's all right.
It's about Android.
And timely.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think this Android Wear is going to be really exciting because it brings some things we really needed to Android Wear for a long time. We don't need the ability to draw emoji on our phone, on our watch, because it's just a gimmick, and but what Apple's done with the same thing is interesting, and seeing that straight away come to Android Wear is cool. I think the big things to come is Google Maps. I'm not sure exactly what's happened there, because in all the screenshots we saw a Google Maps icon showing my location. That's new. That's something that you can't do right now. All you can do is get directions. You go left, you go right, get to your destination. So that's really cool. I don't really know what that's about, and I hope Google starts to elaborate on that a little bit further. The second mystery towards this whole thing, I know we'll get on to what it actually does in a minute, is Sony said that it's going to have pop-up notifications, so you could be doing something like checking your stats or whatever, and then a little notification will pop up that says I've now got a message or something coming in. So that'd be interesting as well to see if it really does have the overlay.
I really like the battery saving stuff as well. So when you're not looking at your watch, it will always be on, but it'll be a lot darker. And then when you look at it, your notifications will come up in massive colour as well. I think there's some really good kind of time saving and battery saving.
That's already kind of there already. I mean, LG does that already with its it has that always on thing. Motorola doesn't. It keeps it quiet.
So do you think they're trying to do it across the board, so it makes it feel like Android Wear is one big ecosystem where it's not you go into another watch and you won't feel that difference to the one you've already got?
Yeah, exactly. I think what you really want is to make sure that you can always tell the time no matter what happens. I'm not so sure about the whole gestures thing, like you flick that way to go through your cards, that way to go back again. I mean, gestures can be temperamental. You're never sure exactly if it's working, so I want to see how that works, because it looks like it works quite well in the video, but in real life, if you haven't got the flick quite right, I'm already getting a bit tired of having to go like that to make sure it definitely turns on, and it needs to be a bit smarter. So hopefully that'll be improved in the update as well.
Yeah, like I said, it is a timely update because obviously the Apple Watch is meant to be coming out this week. It's probably going to be early next week for some of the pre-orders to land. Yep. Do you think it's big enough? Do you think Android or Google are doing the best thing possible for Android Wear by doing this massive update? Do you think we're going to see a lot more iterative updates so it can almost catch up with everything that Apple Watch is doing?
Well, I mean, the Apple Watch, we've been through this backwards and forwards. Apple Watch does a lot of great things technologically better than Android Wear does, and vice versa. There's a lot of easier to use functions in Android Wear. I think in some ways Android Wear makes more sense from a phone watch combination. What Apple's done obviously is create hype and spin, and by not having enough watches out there, people are seeing a demand. This isn't enough in itself to do anything, because what you need is a really, really great device that comes along and says, wow, this is beautiful, this looks really great. I mean, the Urbane's kind of that.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because the Android Wear update is coming in a couple of weeks, but the first one it's coming to is the LG Urbane. So are they using that as their flagship device then?
I think if you're going to choose one of them, it would be the Urbane. It just simply looks the best out of all of them. Yeah. It looks premium, it's got metal, it's a bit chunky and it's a bit large, and it's too expensive. That's the problem right now. It's just far too expensive for what it is. So what we need is really another watch. We need something that's a lot better. That's maybe cheaper or more fully featured in terms of functionality. It needs GPS, it needs tracking, it needs heart rate, it needs everything together, and it needs to be a really complete system that people can really get on board with and say, right, I want that. It changes my life in certain ways, and that's a really good thing.
Yep. So there we have it. So let us know in the comments below if you're buying an Apple Watch or if you're sticking with Android Wear, and let us know what you think of the massive update.